Y'all, Lauren is saying, not today, Satan, not today, Nick. Okay? Woo! That Lauren, baby, that Lauren Williams, she is not playing around with that good old Simon Guobadia and his $1 million smile. Lauren, Portia's sister, is calling this man out. Time for today's Hit It and Quit It news. All right, so let's get into it. I felt like I saw this last night. Was it last night or early this morning? I can't even remember. But anyway, Lauren had posted this, and it's kind of all over the place. So if you haven't seen it, let's discuss it real quick right now. Today's song of the day is "Good Day" by Frank Forrest. Listen to it; it'll set your mind on fire and set your mind at ease. Okay, good song. Anyway, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Hit that notification bell button and hit that like button when you come into the room. So she says this: you might actually get that peach. You're already leaking false stories, shaking my head. And then she actually uses the hashtag Simon Guobadia, hashtag Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, you guys may recall in yesterday's live, we actually talked about how Simon was, I guess, allegedly demanding that Porsha not delete any text messages betwixt she and her sister Lauren, right? So which of these stories are the false ones that Lauren is claiming that he's leaking? Well, it's difficult, right? Because the post says you might actually get that peach. You're already leaking false stories, shaking my head. I don't know if could you argue in court that she technically didn't call him out, but it's the hashtag for me. So we're going to go ahead and assume that that's who she's talking to and that's who she's talking about. And it also leads us to believe that there is some level of thought amongst the family that Simon wants to be a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Did he sign an appearance agreement? Was him getting paid a part of the deal? I mean, that's not typical for the husbands to be paid, as far as I know. So at least not on this show. So it's really interesting to see how this whole situation and this whole 15-month marriage is now falling apart at the seams. And you know what it makes me hearken back to? It makes me hearken back to Portia's Family Matters. Things were falling apart at the seams at the very beginning of their relationship. Now, granted, a lot of that had to do with former Flame Dennis McKinley and Mama Gina, but it's quite interesting to see where we are just a few short months, a year or so later from the catastrophe that was Portia's Family Matters. Who, by the way, Lauren, I think, and Dennis really came out somewhat looking like the heroes in that show, although we all still find a way, however it is, to still love Porsha. Okay? Now, let's get into what Porsha, or at least what has been revealed to be the actual reason for Princess Porsha wanting this divorce from Simon. And for that, we're going to take things over to the neighborhood talk. So Radar Online is reporting that Porsha is finally admitting the exact reason why she decided to divorce her husband, Simon Guobadia, after just 15 months of marriage. Now, this is according to the court docs. The court docs just float. They just be levitating in the sky. Just reach up and grab one. Anyway, Porsha claims that she had no knowledge of his sketchy past, and learning that information ruined her perception of their marriage. Now, this is the quote, right? By way of further response, the media frenzy that ensued was solely a result of husband's actions, which included revelations about husband's criminal history, questionable immigration, and allegations of fraud, the motion reads. Wife shows that the news reports of husband's alleged immigration fraud and what appeared to be an imminent threat of deportation were shocking and affected wife's mental and emotional well-being. None of this information was ever disclosed by husband to wife, despite wife having previously inquired about husband's immigration status and criminal history. So, if you got to ask, is you a criminal? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would have sound like, I don't know. You know what it maybe that's is that a part of dating these days where you got to sit down with the person and then you got to say, listen, hey person, I need for you, yeah, have a drink. Have 3 if you need to. But I need you to tell me about your criminal past. Do you have one? And if not, is that a thing that maybe people should be asking? You know what I'm saying? Because for some people, the criminal past may make a difference. For some people, they may have, done the time and come out a better person. You just never know, right? So it's real hard to say. But in my mind, if there was conversation about it, I mean, I can't. Now that I think about it, it's probably a smart conversation to have. And if he lied to her, then that's definitely something, because that whole story did make the news. Anyway, her lawyer writes, since learning of husband's checkered immigration history and status, wife began to question everything that she initially believed to be true as it relates to her husband's character, immigration, business dealings, etc., and began to uncover additional information that husband failed to disclose to wife. Petitioner did not wish to remain married to a stranger and file for divorce. Now, here is where we need to have a little ponderosa, okay? And I there's a stranger in my house. It took a while to figure out. He was a stranger when you got with him. I mean, no shade, but he was a stranger when you got with him. You got with him real quick, fast, and in a hurry without really knowing him. And it was readily acknowledged that it was, y'all was crazy in love and love at first sight or whatever it was. When you should have been probably asking questions. So, once you get married, it's I'm telling you, this is given who the F that I married. We're on part 84 right now. And I feel like the gates is just opening. So let's continue on, because there's more to the story. All right. It goes on to state, there are more than 1 or 2 reasons we are in this place. And I'm forced. I'm assuming this is what Porsha said in text messages to Simon. There are more than 1 or 2 reasons we are in this place, and I'm forced to make this decision. Oh yes, the text messages are to Simon, so I guess these are leaked, or at least she presented them. Maybe. I will make sure they are written and listed for you to see. There is nothing in this world that would have told me I would have to divorce you, or that I would even contemplate leaving you even for a day. However, what is between us rocks our foundation to the core. I have always trusted you from day one when I took your hand and started on this journey. I've always stressed to you that I feel safe with you and how important for someone like me that is. I've also loved you through and through, but all of this shows me you have not cared for me the same, and that is a huge problem. Your job is to protect PJ and I, and you have not. Okay? So those are allegedly the words of Porsha herself. As you guys can see, here is a review of the court documentation headlines that had went into detail about Simon and all of the background, which we have discussed in previous videos. And I'm quite sure you can find just about any and everywhere online today. Okay. So, well, I mean, there you have it. In the words of Porsha herself, in the words of Miss Lauren Williams herself, I guess it's your move, Simon. Your move. All right. So let's also discuss a little something extra. Okay. Extra, read all about it. Tamara, Judge, and Teddy Mellencamp's got something to say about the Housewives of Potomac. Now, y'all know, listen, everybody, opinions are like, boom, boom holes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got one. So as a result, Teddy and Tamara, they do the podcast Two T's in a Pod. I like Tamara. Teddy, I don't know. Something about her has always just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And, that's me. That's on me. If I got a problem with her, that's my problem. It ain't hers. You know what I'm saying? If I find her annoying, I just find her annoying. It is what it is. But it was just, their take on the Potomac ladies was interesting enough for the Jasmine brand to post. And I kind of wanted to get a feel for what you guys have been thinking, because it honestly had not occurred to me to give Wendy the chop. But Teddy and Tamara both seem to agree that, particularly in light of Candace being gone, that Wendy needs to get her walking papers too. Okay. They believe that she needs to go. All right. So let's talk about it for a second. Potomac without Wendy. I think that the optics of that would be a little difficult for the network. Potentially. It would give kind of the impression of go against Giselle, act up, you can get snatched up vibes. When I have already told y'all, to me, the beef between Wendy and Giselle really seems like much ado about nothing at this stage. Giselle had her things to say about, the reasons why Wendy, enhanced her body. And, there was the rumors that, Giselle had brought up about her husband on camera, and Wendy rightfully, gave it right back to her. In my eyes, they even at this point. So it really ain't nowhere to go. I mean, ain't nothing else left to go down with. But I mean, I guess it just depends on what y'all see as the future of the show, right? Does Wendy fit in with where we see the show going? I can see this show kind of somewhat going back to its roots with Karen and Giselle at the forefront. Mia kind of also now taking in that sort of interesting relationship space that I felt like for a long time Ashley as well as Robin sort of filled on this show. So now that Mia's in this space, I guess the question becomes then, who do we need, right? I think that with losing two central figures like that, I feel like that's probably enough of a cut. But what do you guys think? I think that there's still some more value that Wendy can add. I think that she still has some more story that she could potentially tell, especially if we find that her and Aneka could get to some type of common ground. It would be interesting to see them thrive together on the show together. But that's just my thought, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And that is it for today's Hit It and Quit It. And with that being said, of course, I will catch you guys in the next video.